Welcome back to another episode of Unranked Podcast. We got Grant and Elijah. Thanks again for tuning back in. What we're going to do today, pretty much per usual, every Thursday, we'll be diving into just the results from the previous weekend, the Lions, Lions and Michigan football. Had some pretty dominant victories on both ends. Lions took care of business after a pretty tough loss the week prior, and Michigan kicked off Big Ten play in good fashion. So I'll go ahead and kick it off you, Eli. We'll start off with Michigan out the gate. What are your thoughts on just what you saw against Rutgers on Saturday overall?
Yeah, so I think a good solid game. Not going to take anything away from them. Gave up that quick touchdown at the start of the game. I personally was a little semi-panic button. I was like, what the hell is happening? And we went 3-and-out quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, kind of like, and then after that, settled the waters, kind of started putting the boot down on their neck. But no, overall, real good game from beginning to end. Pretty clean game. It was good to see a clean game from JJ. Not forcing the issue, especially coming off that Bowling Green game where he, had the turnover bug. Good to see Blake kind of get back into the groove again. Just like we talked about right before we hopped on, just finding interesting ways to keep Donovan Edwards in the rotation of touches, whether that's out the backfield as a running back, receiver. Just finding ways to get the ball in his hands, and good things will happen. So, all good things. Best thing that I would hang my hat on is just how damn good that defense looked. And people flying off the ball, defensive line, everybody from Will Johnson to Stanton still making plays on defense in the secondary. So, the defense is firing. And I'm not trying to steal your stat, but I know that they're giving up less than like 6 points a game here. It's very impressive through four weeks of just how, restrictive that defense is. And, obviously haven't played the toughest competition, but your first Big Ten team, you went out there and it looked identical as it did versus Bowling Green. It looked identical as it did versus the rest of the opponents you've played early in the season. So I think that trajectory will continue to go forward here.
For sure. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Now, I give Rutgers credit. They got a solid quarterback. I think they just have looked very improved these last couple of years. They always play us tough. I mean, I still just think back. I mean, when we was on the ropes out there in that COVID year. I mean, granted it was COVID year, but they've always. I mean, we've been 2021. I think the score of that game was 20-13. I think everybody was kind of like, yo, you know what I'm saying? So I think they've improved. I mean, obviously we handled them pretty easily these last couple of years. But yeah, like you said, you just like to see that defense. They just shook off the little mishap there. They look like Sanderson just kind of stumbled a little bit and got a little caught on the route. And they just, we were man look like too, and he just got it and took off. But
and I think just jumping on that, I think they said that their tendency was to run the ball 80% of the time on third down, regardless of how long it was. So I think we were just leaning into the statistics of what we had read,
absolutely
thinking that that early in the game would just rather just run it and see if they could do. I think we were kind of caught off our toes a little bit as well. Where so I just want to say that they were.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, because you hit that right on the head because that's what they were known for doing. Even the quarterback, dual threat, big dual threat, in that regard. So, yeah, and I think we just settled back in. Sarah still had that great play. I thought it was a fumble. I saw the replay. I mean, it was impressive. He showed off his receiver skills. Being able to just kind of get in that passing lane like that. So it was great seeing Kenneth Grant. All 340 pounds. Sprinting, lead blocking.
Yeah.
So he took care of a couple different
Somebody out.
Laid out somebody crazy. And yeah, I think and I said on here a few different times, offense, I'm okay with them kind of sputtering a little bit. That it takes a little bit longer to get rolling. I think this time, obviously we did a little better in non-conference with Harbaugh there last year. I think we're a little more conservative, but I think this is really this time last year with we start clicking on offense, getting a couple Big Ten tests under our belt. But I love seeing that defense really just being dominant. We got solid depth. That D line, I mean, they're looking they're just swirling to the ball. We're getting turnovers. They're just doing, and really for me, it's like they're shutting off the water. That run, you know what I'm saying? They're shutting off, they're making teams one-dimensional like immediately. And that's just something you'd like to see because it's only gonna get better from here on out.
Yeah, and playing musical chairs with who's available, who's not, and like Rod Moore didn't start first couple of games. We're throwing in guys who've more or less had not played in many meaningful snaps. And true sophomores, people who barely touched the field. Rod Moore comes back this game, gets right back, knocked out the game. He has to get thrown right. It's one of those things where people are stepping up at the drop of a dime. Yeah, young guys are stepping up. And I think that just shows the true depth of where that defense is. We're like 8 guys deep on, or 7 guys deep on defensive line. Linebacking core solid. And now it looks like we've got some good young guys in the secondary that's able just to come in and step in when if somebody goes down or need a breather, or we have to play interesting packages, have more receipt corners out there, DBs than we're used to. At least we're not throwing a baby deer out there. We're throwing somebody who's had some good snaps, seen some things, got their toes wet. So this is all nothing but good things for the defense.
For sure. And even add too, Morion Walker. Morion Walker. He was one of them guys that they thought like could be you heard quite a bit about in spring ball. Yep. Like he just came back to practice from whatever he was dealing with. So like that's another guy that we just the 6'4", like 190, we're like a 4'3".
Yep, just got him in the tuck.
Yeah, they got the tools, so it's good to kind of just see them starting to have the success they are and to still having a lot of these guys still working their way back in. Right. Yeah, just a testament to the depth.
Yeah, and I think that Rutgers team, they're gonna win some Big Ten games. I think they maybe already got one under their belt. I know they got Virginia Tech down. It's typically a fairly solid ACC opponent. I think they're going to win some games. They're going to be a bowl game type team, and
absolutely.
And we route them. So I think that's just a good notch under our belt. It was good to see Jim Harbaugh back on the sideline, just yelling at refs, getting in the mix.
Yeah,
bringing JJ over to him, just kind of having that. I feel like, at least for maybe because I'm a Michigan fan, I feel like you always see Harbaugh doing that kind of coaching of the quarterbacks. I can picture back to Spate, to O'Korn, to Patterson. He kind of just always pulls them aside right on that sideline and coach them up. And I think the players, and I've never been a quarterback in my life, but I imagine that's something you would get used to. Just kind of that calming figure, the person that's been
presence.
The presence. 100%. Been, got good 20, 30,000 passing yards under his belt in the NFL. He's been there, done that. Played at the highest levels at Michigan. I think just having him on the sideline is a good calming presence for the offense. And
for sure.
And I think we kind of answered the question. That is Harbaugh that wants to pound that rock. Because that came right back. We were kind of getting right back to how we looked a little bit, or typically would look. Yeah, run the damn ball, run 100%. I figured that's what that shirt said, but I couldn't say it. But no, and just looking, I know we're gonna move forward to other games as well on them for this coming week, but just year over year, 237 passing yards a game this year. They averaged 219 last year. 176 on the ground this year, 238 on the ground last year. And I think we obviously overall those two numbers don't add up. So we're a little bit less yardage year over year. But I think nothing too alarming, but I do think if we're going to that's going to have to probably be at least north of that 200 yards a game.
For sure.
And that's just something I was looking at as far as, that's off a good 75 yards year over year. And I just think that's something that's a little alarming to me.
What I'm be curious to see, because I think the interesting thing, like with that first game, I mean, obviously, East Carolina, they was just sending 9, 8. A lot of these teams, they just play us weird because they don't have the athletes to play us straight up. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be interesting, and also too, you have that the quarterback coach calling the plays. Sharon Moore was suspended. I think I saw a significant just improvement in the run game, from that second game opposed to that first game. And I think Harbaugh, I think we're doing what's necessary to get JJ that confidence. Like we knew we could let him spin it a little bit, let Roman Wilson get his confidence up, beat some of these guys. He's got 4, 5, 6 touchdowns already.
Yep.
So I think, I think from here, like I agree with you. I think Harbaugh really going, we're really gonna be, first down, second down, like really weighing on people, kind of playing that second half game that we played last year where we just turn it up a notch and really start to get after folks in the second half.
I agree with you. Not something that I just wanted to point it out. Not something I think
that's
we're
great point.
Just ready to like I said, hit the panic button. But I think, as you said, just the groove of who's calling the plays and that type of thing. And I mean, you really got to think both our running backs came off of knee surgery. This when you really consider that both of them guys I'm not saying they are or were, but could have been a little timid on that knee, could have been a little unsure. First game film or first game action outside of practice on a knee that you're getting used to, and a lot of things to worry about here.
For sure.
So no, I just and I've obviously got
see more consistent,
throw it around a little bit, but I think like you said, we do got to pound it down, Brock, and just get back to that bully ball because that is still our strength.
Sure. And I think something, and this is kind of like, I'm kind of just throwing this out there, kind of like a prediction, so to speak. I feel like I could see, I think this year, like last year, we weren't really hitting, Jenny was hitting that deep ball.
Yep.
I think this year we're going to hit that deep ball 1-2 different times, get that lead, and we're really going to be able to just, there were some opportunities where we was going into halftime, down 1, getting team's best shot. And I think this year we'll be able to capitalize on stuff. The game's going to look a lot differently just off of them plays made through the air. And I think that running game that's kind of struggling right now, sputtering a little bit. I think that's how it gets cranked up. So that's kind of like a little bit of prediction from me. I think it's going to turn out.
No, I think that's a good call.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we can dive into Nebraska, just kind of talk through that matchup. I kind of kicked things off. I've seen them play, watched them play that opening weekend. I think it was week 0 when they started off that Thursday night. No, I think it was week 1 that Thursday
Colorado.
night. Yep, against Minnesota, and then saw them against Colorado.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I think they're just in a rebuilding phase. They got, a guy, got quarterback Jeff Sims. He was a transfer, came in there, struggled quite a bit. Sounds like now they got some sophomore that seems to be dual threat, doing quite a bit. Got the same, like more rushing yards and passing yards. And what you saw against inferior teams, you wasn't all that impressed, but it's now they're 2-2, got all the confidence in the world. It felt like they righted the ship, and they got guys in press conferences referring to us, as like the top dog in the Big Ten now. And talk about how they treat every opponent, and it's always an opportunity when we're going into Nebraska for something to go wrong. So one of the matchups where you got to have things tight, all 3 phases of the game, and go in there and take care of business.
Yeah, I think they're trying to turn it around a little bit. Yeah, obviously they kind of had the Scott Frost experiment kind of fell apart. They're kind of getting back to their traditional ways here. So I actually completely forgot. It seems like so long ago, but I did watch that Minnesota game, Minnesota and Nebraska game. And obviously they're not the same starting quarterback because he got benched. I think his name was Jeff Sims.
Yeah.
First, that Colorado game, he just looked like he just couldn't get it done. And but so they would have hung around a little better with Colorado if he would have been not completely inactive. But with that being said, because he fumbled 3 or 4 times inside the 30. But
he's doing crazy. Yeah, he's doing some crazy stuff. Yeah.
So, but just looking at the new boy, kind of crazy name here, but Heinrich Hanberg, kind of a big dude, 6'5", 220. Like you said, pretty much going 50-50. Got 278 rushing yards or passing yards, 272 on the ground. Couple tubs on both. So I think they're going to try to Tim Tebow him. That's probably what their game plan is.
I didn't know he was 6'5", running like that. That's nuts.
Yeah. So just, but I don't feel too confident any guy that got 24 career completions. So,
Yeah. You look at
yeah,
you look at some
no,
of the stats on this, like, so he played Louisiana Tech. Offhand, I can't tell how good they are. Only won 28-14. He had 19 carries for a buck 57, and one of them was for 72 yards. So that tell you right there. You can do some
take
quick
that off.
math.
That's 18 for 180 or 18 for 80 or something. Yeah,
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
agree.
that's interesting. Just
You
to
know,
kind of
bottle them up.
yeah, like that's interesting. Just kind of like see like how they go about this. Because I mean, running the ball, we ran it 19 times against Louisiana Tech, ran it 21 times against Northern Illinois. Um,
Yeah,
I'm trying to like it's like why? Like that's a
you ain't.
lot.
Yeah, you ain't running the ball 20 times versus Michigan.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah, it's not a good idea. You ain't making it out of there. Um,
No.
unbanged up. So no, I agree. But looking at that, I think I really expect us to come out here, and I don't think we've had games that sound wins, good victories. I still don't think we've had that put it together complete route yet.
Yeah.
We've had moments, like I'm not mad about that Rutgers game at all, but I would like to see him pour it on a little more cleanness.
For sure.
Just everybody eats. Maybe JJ can go for 300. Each of the running backs, like you said, 90, 100 on the ground. Um, defense still get their tub up. I think that's what I'm looking for. Is just like we're back. Got Harbaugh back in the helm. He got a game under his belt. We've got the spider web knocked off the team more or less, and we're beginning this championship run again. And I think,
Yep.
and I'm looking forward to it. I think we can come out here and win, like we said before, 35-10, 35-14 here on out, and that'll mimic pretty much what you see. I'm blanking on right now. Georgia do last year, where it's not too sexy. It's just dominating football. And I
Yep.
think that's
Suffocate the defense and like figure out the offense in due time.
yeah.
Like I feel
Yep.
like that's
Agree. And
yep.
the offense is one of those things it's a week over week where
Mm-hmm.
you're putting the puzzle pieces together where you're putting in a wrinkle now that you might want Ohio State to see for for then. I think
Yeah.
you're playing chess when it comes to the offensive game versus defense.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. We're the best. We're the
Right.
dog for out there just and clamp down.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the win here. I think it's a high noon game.
3:30, which is just weird to
Oh,
me.
it's 3:30. Okay,
Yeah.
3:30 down there though.
Prime just took Big Noon Fox from us. That's why that's why you play it after. Real
Big
talk.
Prime Fox. Yeah,
They got UNC Colorado play at 10 a.m. They like Colorado time. Big Noon
we're gonna
Fox.
call it Prime Noon Prime.
Big Prime Fox. Yeah. Prime Noon Fox. But
Yeah,
but yeah. I think
I agree.
you wanna give a I was gonna say one other thing real quick, and we can give score prediction. I just feel like you kind of just been hearing, you don't really hear a whole lot about us. I watch like the college game day final, kind of like 12:30, 1 o'clock, kind of, for, it's kind of watching the last couple games of the night. And I don't know, you kind of just hear like, oh, like you kind of hear like, oh man, Penn State, they're like, I think they're top dog. And you hear, Ohio, like you'll hear, oh, they like we understand, like they're struggling, quarterback situation, all that. With us, it's just kind of like, man, like they just haven't looked as dominant. Because even like, even Georgia's give us like 50 something already. You know what I'm saying? So I think we got like a nice little like statement game coming where it's like we don't like I don't need to see that to know that we good. You know what I'm saying? But I think this is like we need to just kind of remind the media.
Yeah, no, you don't. I don't want them to. Yeah, I know you don't either. We don't want them to peak. I don't want them to play the best they're going to play this year.
For
But I
sure.
want them to play the best they have played this year.
For
I
sure.
think that's yeah, and I think it's no better time than now. It's one of those things where it's 4 weeks in, you got it, you got to put it together now. You can put it together now and have a game or two where you're like, damn, JJ, you missed a couple deep balls, and
Right.
then put
Yeah.
it together. But I want to see when it's all together, what this team looks like.
Yep.
When JJ's hidden, when Blake's hidden, when Donovan Edwards is hitting that corner, we got a couple of sacks. Will Johnson got a pick six. That I want to see what it looks like when we roll and go out there and stun that Nebraska crowd, shut them up. Had his dude bottled up. 19 carries for 38 yards. I want to just one of those type of
If
things.
he gets to 19,
Yeah, if you get to 19, he might be in a cast, but
yeah, it's gonna be a tough Sunday. Yeah, no, for sure. And I agree. No, I'm with you on that. I think it's gonna reflect on my score prediction. I'm thinking like 45, like 45-10. I think it's gonna be like in that range. I do feel like I said before we got on here, I don't give out betting advice, but I'd take Michigan to cover this weekend if I were a betting man.
I was betting, man. No, I don't want to steal your score prediction. That's actually the exact same one I had. So I modified a little bit, but I think in that ballpark, I really do. I think we're gonna be like, let's say like 45-17, 45-13, somewhere in there. And I'm honestly hoping not. I'm hoping that defense can go out there and get that 5.6 again. Let them get a field goal, and just completely embarrass people. And then, because then that would begin to look like that Georgia defense where through 6 weeks they gave up 4 touchdowns or some shit. It's like they were, yeah,
just nuts.
No, I'll say 45, 45-17, 45-14. If everything goes well, I expect to see, Orgy at quarterback, you're getting loose.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Right in line with that.
Remove Thal from the punt today. We got to
Tyler
put
Morris
it on the record. Yeah, we got to put it on the record.
Tyler Morris is the answer. No, they'll know that by.
Yeah, I don't know what his dad must be a booster or something, but yeah, you explain it to me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think Morris should be the guy going forward too. Yeah, we shifting gears here. Got the Lions. Talking about them. Not only we have them this weekend playing the Packers, we got them on Thursday night playing the Packers. So you got prime time for everybody to see.
Yep.
We're already kind of like America's darling, and the NFL has decided to put us out there, in that spotlight to see what we do with it. And I think the last couple games in prime time, we showed up and showed out. It's going to be a solid matchup, way to kick off NFC North division play. I feel like what I've seen from these last 2 teams, the other 3 teams in this division, I think this is our division to lose, and I say that with some solid confidence. And I think this is one of them things where you gotta take advantage of the game. Like these are games you need to win.
Yeah.
I've seen Jordan Love. I've seen Jordan Love look like what he's looked like against Justin Fields. We know what Justin Fields looked like. And then we've seen just, some ups and downs from his end. So, yeah, I think I'll kick it over to you. Just want to see your thoughts on, what you've seen from the Packers, up to this point and just how you feeling about, the game so far.
So, Jordan Love and the Packers, I'm kind of, the cash is like, I'm still not sure how I feel about him as I think he's okay quarterback. I don't know if, he'll be running the show for the next 7-10 years for them. But I think he's serviceable, good for what I've seen. Got to get the completion percentage up. 51% ain't gonna get it done. Really sub 60, you on your way out, really. So I would say all that to say, I'm actually feeling pretty confident. I'm feeling confident coming off last week's win. Feeling confident off of how really dominant the defense looked. It's something that you haven't said in a while. Obviously, different situation. I think I would say that Jordan Love is probably more serviceable than Riddick, but I don't know. I think that's kind of up for debate. But a couple of things that really stood out to me: we won 5 of the 6 on the road, 5 of 6 on the road recently. 72 rushing yards a game this year. We've given up 150 last year. And I guess you got to really kind of praise the team for that. I mean, anytime you cut your defensive rushing in half, I mean, I think you're gonna win probably. I want to say you can't double the amount of wins, but you're gonna increase your amount of wins exponentially. So
for sure,
I'm kind of looking at that, getting Taylor Decker back, getting Montgomery even kind of on a bum leg back.
Yeah.
All good signs. I don't think Knight was serviceable last week, but quicker we can get Montgomery back, the better. Um, so all things I'm looking forward to. Like you said, the NFL keep putting us in primetime spots,
Yeah.
and this is we are kind of America's darling. Kind of what are they going to do? Are we going to watch this team flourish, or let's watch them crash and burn? Either way,
Watch them.
it's
Yeah. Are they going to be who they usually are? Or are they for
mm-hmm.
real this time?
Are they the same old line or not? Yeah. So I think
right. Yeah, that's been a lot of the talk.
That's what we're fighting against here. But it really comes down to, I think we're a good team. And we said we did this a lot last year. I did this a lot last year, but every week is a must-win game. But I think when we can continue to add to that win column and further separate ourselves away from a 500 mediocre team, that continue to give me confidence. I think you go ahead. It's really like 2 wins. You get a division win on the road. Green Bay's gonna have to come back to you where the stadium's rocking. If you've already beat them on the road, the home fans are gonna think we can win twice as bad. I think that's all things I'm looking forward to this game is just continue to lean on that defense. We were texting Dave, get them young boys out there. They're making plays. They're making a difference. Offense and defensive. Their young boys are whether it's Laporta, Branch, Gibbs. I think you just continue to throw them out there and let them cook. Even Campbell. I know I've been probably the hardest on him. Campbell had that sack, had a few other little decent plays. I think you got to let them all go out there just in jail and keep that young energy, excitement up. And I think that's, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So I think
for sure. Yeah, no, I think for a lot of guys, it was like the coming out party and especially like Brian Branch. I feel like every time you just see that green mouthpiece just around the ball. 11 tackles, like the nickel position, 2-3 TFLs. I love that that tone setter, hit he had on Bijan where he literally was fuck it, I gotta let him know I'm not scared to come hit him, not do his helmet off. And which I think, just to touch on this real quick, Bijan want to put his head down, and somehow, we got called for unnecessary roughness. I think that should have definitely been a penalty on them. It just looked bad because he was the one that ended up, falling backwards and had his helmet falling off. You look at the replay, he literally had his head, a crown of his helmet, and Brian trying to put it in his face. So, but yeah, you like to see that.
Screw the defenders on that. Nothing they can do about that. It's tough.
It's an offensive game. Yeah, they, no, that's 100%. And you see even Hutch, he's leading the league in pressures. I sent you that little screenshot. It's him, it's Crosby, him, and JJ Watt or TJ Watt. That's what you want to see.
Yes.
And the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. He was just in that backfield, just causing all types of chaos. And even Aleem McNeil, that was somebody I'm we talk about, we talk about a big fellow from Georgia, about how we really, really wanted him. So I'm telling myself we didn't get him. So Aleem McNeil got to be, real deal. He looked a lot better. Got the guy Bugs that got benched. D-line is solid. Like you said, it's crazy to just kind of see. This is kind of a good segue into the Falcons game because I kind of got excited about primetime, went straight to the Packers first. But it is it's just interesting to see how they've really tightened things up on that side of the ball overall. Just in that deep, for running stopping the run to where we're getting gashed and made this quick change, this complete 180.
Yeah, I think it's just a who's going to show up type of team. We're such a wishy-washy team, which makes me think it settles out to an 8-9, above 500 team, unless you can begin to pile these wins up to must wins.
Right.
And this is a very beatable team, and as far as Green Bay goes, very beatable. And just how you played the Falcons game, stuff in the run. I thought they were going to run all over us. I thought that would, I figured if we win, it would be by the grace of God, not a route, not like a
It was kind of good for a hot second. Algier, he ran over Branch, but Branch came and got him back. They had a nice little drive where I'm looking but I think we stood tall and ended up getting the ball back from them.
And they just didn't have no faith in that quarterback. They just wouldn't let him. Yeah, they were not even letting him be a game manager. They were just, like not.
He was
But
rattled from the jump. Like when we talked on here, they said like he got blasted out of bounds by a linebacker. It's like I feel like after that he just did not look comfortable
no,
at all.
yeah, hostile crowd. You get
Yeah.
blasted. You're used to handing off to your running backs for 200 yards on the ground. That ain't happening. Yeah,
Yeah.
um,
And I think we won the game within the game. There's a couple games within the game. We had the Bama Texas matchup. Gibbs had twice as many yards. Then we had the like I said, both these teams been drafted in the top 10 for the last 7 to 10 years. And I think, we definitely, we dominated that game. I thought like they didn't score a touchdown. Like I completely it's kind of like realized that here just now again that they
we did. Multiple
tight,
Yeah, you brought up the Gibbs and just what we said last week. I wasn't ready to, like I said, you have to put him out there. We drafted him so high in the draft. You have to put him out there to see if he's even worth it. We can't protect him. It does. It's not good for the team. It's not good for him. It's not good for nobody taking him and letting him ride the bench.
Right.
And I think this would probably be until like mid fourth quarter. I forget the exact numbers, but something ballpark of like 13 carries for 44 yards or something like that. And then those last 4 carries, he had another 40 yards. Was exactly what we said. He has to get a feel for the game. He needs enough touches. Up. Yeah, get revved up enough touches to get some of those 20, 25 yard breaking runs to kind of help that whole average out. And that was that whole last, I want to say the last drive alone, he probably had 40 yards on it, 35, 40 yards. When the whole rest of first 3 quarters of the game, he only had 40 yards. So I think that shows what he needs, just those additional touches to try to get loose. And whether we can do that week in and week out, he'll obviously have to find a way to capitalize when he does get touches, because we're not going to be able to give him 20 carries and 20 carries to Montgomery. And,
pass or put a receiver more.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Put him out there. And that'd be on Ben Johnson. You got all these pieces. You got to cook them up. You got to figure out a way to incorporate all of these. Whether he's just a decoy out there, you got to find ways to just keep it interesting and use these weapons you got. Because I feel like there's not enough ball to go around now, and we don't have one of the highly touted receivers everybody's waiting for. I think it's one of those. I don't know how there's not enough ball to go around now. I feel like, and that's going to make it that much harder when you bring in a guy who everybody automatically thinks is number 2 target. So,
sure. Yeah. No, I think kind of we were saying with Michigan, I like what I'm seeing already. As far as just the play calling it's been pretty solid. And I'll be curious to kind of see how they start to just keep working Jameer in, just keep, jet sweeps, screen passes, let him run a slant, out route, get him on a line, get him one-on-one with a linebacker, wheel routes. We've seen them do it all at Bama. I'm be curious to see how they start to really, because like you said, you got to get him going. I think right now, honestly, I can say with confidence, he's our 3rd best receiver. That's not even disrespect to the other guys. That just shows how much depth we don't have there. So this is all the more you can put him at receiver. I mean, I'm not a coach, but I'm just, I think there's a lot of opportunity for him to really do well, as a receiver, targeting them 6 to 7 times a game. I think he can win a lot of the matchups.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can reflect back to the game, but there was a point in the game where they had St. Brown in the backfield.
Yeah.
And they kind of trotted him out, and he got mismatched versus linebacker. To me, that could be a play for Gibbs. Not that St. Brown is, obviously, he's one of our better players on the whole team. But to me, this is when you could have both of them out there at the same damn time.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is stopping you from doing that. And to me, it didn't make sense why you're going to, you already have a receiver at running back, basically. There's no reason to put a real receiver at running back at that point in time. Use the weapons that you have. And unless you're not confident that his hands are sure enough to go out there and get that little 3-yard arrow. But to me, that kind of stood out to me of a play that should have been a Gibbs play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think they're gonna get him rolling. I think this is a good opportunity to do so. and I feel like I just like what I saw, just kind of how he started to really like, wear on that and on the defense. Got some solid runs. He's literally like lightning in a bottle, bro. Like I feel like I still just think back to that Kansas City game. I mean, he just got like it ran him on like 2nd and 15, and he got like just the quickest like 17 yards, like fake spin move. I mean, I've seen him put the shoulder down on people. Like he's got a lot of juice to him. So it'd just be nice to, I think it's kind of see him, gradually get him more worked in, and to just kind of help Montgomery too, with the leg injury, just kind of, ease him back into stuff and not, have him re-aggravate anything. So yeah, I think overall, just also want to just kind of touch on the defense a little bit more, just with Hutch. I mean, I know that was something that it was just great to seeing him really start to like. I think he's gonna have a big year. I know we kind of touched on just the pressures and just what he's kind of looking like so far, but I just love like the defensive player of the week. Getting that type of recognition. I think he's just really set himself up to just be like a great like cornerstone, for that defense.
No, I mean, I tip my hat to him. I mean, I've been a fan of his since obviously he stepped foot on Michigan, but it was just to see him really not fall off too much of what he was doing at Michigan is super impressive.
Yeah, and
so
all around like the versatility. I mean, just
doing shit he never did at Michigan. I've never
Yeah.
seen him drop back in coverage in my life at
No.
Michigan, and
He
he got three interceptions last year. So I think his game stats from this week was 4 tackles, 2 sacks, forced fumble recovery, and a pass deflection. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, oh my, that's
can't beat it.
yeah. I mean,
Can't beat it.
you do any combination. Obviously, you can't bang on 2 sacks a game, but any
Yeah.
combination of that every other game, you're headed to potential defensive player of the year award. And
Yeah.
I think
Like
I didn't want to
that's what Micah Parsons been doing, and like you hear
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they had like a similar stat lines.
Yeah.
He had a similar stat line Parsons did week 2 to what what Hutch had.
And we would never hear the end of it if Hutch had a Cowboy jersey on. So I mean, we got to just everybody knows at the Lions you got to do a little more to get the same recognition.
Yeah, but it's nice to get that defensive player of the week.
Yeah. 100%. Put that in your belt.
Right.
What it's worth, I think he's proven that you can't. You got to double him. You got to chip him. And he had 2 sacks, but he also probably caused another 1.5, and other people got the credit for it. He blew a play up.
Yeah.
Over, just disrupting things. So that's what those 19 pressures does. 19 pressures divided by 3 is 6 pressures a game. So I mean, you're really just wreaking havoc on the quarterback in the backfield constantly. I'm thrilled that we got him, and I'm gonna let it go. But I mean, if you would have had Jalen Carter next to him, oh my God, I don't even I couldn't tell you what the defense or what offensive line would do. I really don't know.
I mean, just So
but we got one piece, and I don't know. I mean, people are having a hard enough time dealing with him, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to have that connection with him from Michigan. Just keep cheering him on, and really I mean, it's not even a thing, but like a closeout sack. That's pretty much what he had at the end of the game. Closeout sack, took the ball away. Yeah, went in. I don't remember if I did a cat daddy or something in the end zone. He was just like
stanky leg.
I forgot what he did, but yeah, it's like he clowned. So it's good to see, and I hope he finishes. I mean, realistically, I would love to see him finish at 12 sacks. Maybe I mean, you can't bank on this too often, but 12 sacks, maybe another pick, another fumble or 2. I think he's right on his way
for sure. And I want to give a shout out to the secondary because we lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson, didn't have Kirby Joseph. Tracy Walker stepped right back in. Played a solid game.
A couple times.
Yeah, he did. I'm not even gonna try to say my man's name, but Melifonwu, number 6. He filled in for Kirby Joseph. He lit up a couple guys. I think he had Kyle Pitts on the ground, kind of like a little shook for a little bit. And like I said, I don't know, bro. It's just I think it's just a bad matchup. Like because we've looked night and day differently against everybody else except for like them in this last like them in Carolina. And I think we got them next week. So I'll be curious to see how that looks. And it come to Detroit. So I'll be curious to see how that looks. But just night and day difference. Like and they know too, they gave that Seattle game away, a lot of points being scored. They had to cap Seattle had a phenomenal game plan. I think just putting tight ends on Hutch, leaving tight ends in to help with the tackles, play action, all that. But yeah, I mean, we said it 5-6 times already, but the defense was just really like improved. And I expect the same thing tomorrow.
100%. And Seattle just outcoached us.
Yeah.
Straight up. Outcoached us. Was that the pick six game?
Yep.
Yeah, pick six. Got outcoached. Yeah.
First half.
A lot of bad things, but I think, if you're a real playoff team, you shake that off, you come back and you beat a team you should have beat, like the Falcons.
Yep.
Then if you're a real playoff team, you put that win under your belt, you don't get too high, you don't bring back the scheme, you don't do anything, you get back to work, and you go ahead and
stacking them.
Yeah. And through the first quarter of the year, obviously it's not quite the quarter because I think we're at 17 games now, but through the first quarter of the season, 3-1 is a dub. You do that, you're sitting there at 12-5. You know what I mean? So I think
3-1 with 10 days off to get people back healthy.
To go over Carolina, who you should get. Mm-hmm. So I think big game, a lot of momentum can kind of hang on this game on the road versus Green Bay. I feel like it's a blessing in disguise. I feel like every damn year we play Green Bay in like late December in Green Bay. The fact that we can catch them early when it's not 4 degrees out there. They got to bring their asses back to Detroit later on in the year. I'm trying to see when they come here, but regardless, is that Thanksgiving? We play on Thanksgiving? Yeah. Yep. So come back here on Thanksgiving. Crowd gonna be rocking. I think that's the perfect storm there. You're heading into that game, hopefully sitting at I don't know what that math would work out to, but hopefully sitting at 8-3 or something, 8-4. With all the momentum in the world, and I cannot hang this up enough. Getting a dub on the road is
critical.
Conference win on the road is
it's how you get those home games.
Yeah, and a maturation of a step of a good team. You got to take care of that. Go win versus a lesser opponent. A young quarterback. Hutch should want to put him on his ass a couple of times. I'm looking forward to it. I'm kind of riding high again, but that's the roller coaster of a Lions fan.
No, that's a good segue. Now we can throw the score predictions out here. And I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I think we're gonna squeak one out. Squeak one out. Kind of a low scoring run fest, slug fest. But I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna go like 21-17.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, somewhere in that, just kind of tough nose, smash mouth football. I think that's kind of how I anticipated playing out with us squeaking out a win.
Yeah, I'm gonna do I had 24-17. Yep. I think we'll tough defense. I think it will be a slugfest. I think both offenses will kind of sputter a little bit, but I do think we have the better personnel, got a better quarterback, and that's what ends up putting a lot of teams over the top, in these types of matchups. And we showed, the end of the year last year, we were very comfortable with, going in there and playing well. So,
No, I agree with that. And Doug, you brought up the defense, and just to kind of talk about another guy. They may have played together, but maybe not. Rashawn Gary, I think he got like 3.5 sacks already this year.
Last week,
contract year or whatnot, but he's coming to wreck havoc.
He knocked out Derek Carr. That's how they started that comeback. It was down 17.
It was down. Yeah, yep. So, and in the middle of that game, I was like, "Oh yeah, we got him." But then you see night and day of how fast people could turn things around, knock a quarterback out.
So I think that run.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't have number 75 out there, because you put number 7 for Sean Gary. It's it's going to be a long night for golf. But I think we got Decker back.
That's what had Digger talk about. I need to tore it all. That's what they're like. They're
Right.
nudging him like, all right, can you
Hey, Gary, buddy, you see,
you give us like 25 plays, like
yeah,
30?
they, they just brought him in a room and put the player. The dude is getting leveled and
Right.
go get.
We'll send a chipper. We'll send a tight end if we need. We'll help you out. We'll send a running back over to you, but can
Give
you
you a
come
cortisone
back?
shot at halftime too.
Right. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
we'll just tape it up and just do whatever. Yeah. It's week to week, like you said earlier. Every Sunday, every game is critical.
Yeah, no. So go ahead and get this dub. I feel good about the team. It's just one of those. We really are kind of, I hate to say it, to be cheesy, a gritty team. We really are. We seem to fight back. We seem to have kind of a swagger to us a little bit.
Yeah, physicality. I think
good
aggression.
To see us bounce back. Yeah, that defense is aggressive, and I like it. I think we probably had a defensive pass, like I can't think of what you would officially call it, like a defensive roughing, like a what is it called when you're too aggressive? I forgot what they call it. Like a
unnecessary roughness.
Unnecessary. We probably got one of those every game so far. One of the I think the defense is coming to play. Got a helmet or two popped off. Mm-hmm. And we're playing with mismatched pieces. People who shouldn't be on the field yet, or we thought wouldn't be on the field yet. So it's good.
Yeah.
Joseph Laterwood, Tracy Walker Laterwood.
Good blend of depth and young talent right now, and everybody's getting better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, good things are happening. I think, we're headed in the right direction.
For sure. And then start with
getting this dub here will make me feel a hell of a lot better. 3-1. I mean, when last time the Lions been 3-1? So,
Stafford days.
Yeah. Gas was 92 cents back then. Yeah.
Right. And shout out Stafford. I see you out there 9, like 3rd, 4th in the league in passing. He had busted out a couple 300-yard games to kick off the season. I watched
him the other day. It was rough, but
Cooper Kupp, Cooper Kupp been hurt. So
Cooper Kupp got that. Hey, we gotta have to talk about Cooper Kupp getting it back and disappearing.
He did go on IR twice.
1 year, bro. Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah.
Let me think real quick. Cooper,
all right.
Not Cooper Tires. Cooper Kupp. This is completely random, but Cooper Kupp got 6,000 career years. He's been in the league 7 years, got 6,000 career receiving yards, and 2,000 of them came in 1 year.
Bro, Stafford, Stafford's treating him like Megatron, just like 300 targets his first year out there.
he had 145 receptions. That's stupid.
We probably had like 250 targets. Probably something crazy.
You would have to, damn near.
Yeah, probably legit like 180. Yeah, 190. Yeah, 100%.
Let me see. Ooh, 191.
Oh my gosh! Every time he turned,
that gunslinger. That's great. That's like what's 191 divided by 7? That's a lot of game.
Yeah, it's like it was like 18 to 20 a game.
12 a game.
Okay, yeah. I was a little 12 a game. Yeah, that's nuts.
But
shout out 9. I'm still.
Shout out.
I'm still.
You got it. Hey, old school gunslinger, and I always love the quarterbacks.
Yeah, looking forward. He's gonna be on the next quarterback documentary next season. Looking forward to that. I just want him to ride off in the sunset smooth. He deserved it. Got the ring, got the bag, got the little house on the beach out in California. Well deserved.
Yeah. So his little crib around here. Sorry.
Right.
But no, 100%. No, we're gonna be back at you next week. Hopefully with 2 dubs under our belt. You got anything else for the people?
That's all I got. Go Blue and go Lions. We'll be back with y'all soon.
Go Lions. Peace.